Hi everyone, my name's Hazel and I'm an author and a PhD student, and today we're just gonna do like a chit chat. Get ready with me because someone left a comment on my last video telling me I talk too much, so now I'm gonna prove them wrong and talk even more than I did in the last video. I thought it was a really funny comment, to be honest. But I did find it kind of like therapeutic. I was watching a Smoky Glow video the other day where she was talking about, she was doing a talk tutorial, and she was saying about how she finds doing her makeup kind of therapeutic, and even though I'm not very good at makeup, I guess I do find it therapeutic as well. So I liked talking at the same time for my Glossier video. I really enjoyed doing it. So I decided, first of all, I'm going to do the look I was wearing in my previous video, which was Miraculous Ladybug Series 4 Theories and Predictions. I used the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2 palette, which looks like this, and I mainly use this green colour, turquoisey colour. My mum always tells me I'm partially colourblind because I always call different colours different names. But anyway, I'm going to be using that, and I'm also going to talk about, because like I said, I find this therapeutic and it might help me come to terms with this a bit more. I'm going to talk about what happened on my novel debut day. It wasn't a complete disaster, but I guess I had expected it literally to be the best day of my life. I've wanted to be an author since I was 4 years old, 3-4 years old when I learned how to write. So I was expecting it to be amazing, and because of what happened, it meant that I don't have the best memories of that day. But I'll get into it as I do my makeup, I guess, and I'll tell you what products I'm using as I go through it. So if you're not here to have someone chat quite a lot, then please leave, because I'm not gonna sit here in silence and do my makeup. That'd be weird. Okay, so I've done all of my skincare, and the last thing I put on my face was this Clinique ID with the moisturiser for dry skin and the green cartridge to help with redness because I do have rosacea. And now I'm gonna go in with the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. I really like this one because it helps with my rosacea, which is having a pretty good day today as it goes. So my novel it's called Nightmare Scenario. There's a link to it in the description if you're interested. Oh, and by the way, I didn't say this last video, I put all the links to the makeup I used in the video in the description box, but none of them were affiliate links. The only link in the description box I make money from if you buy something from it is the one for my book, because it's my book. That's how books work. So that's the only one I make money off. Hey everyone, it's me from the end of the video. I completely forgot to actually tell you what my book was about when I started talking about it. So it's a young adult science fiction romance set in London in 2047 about a girl who hears voices. They make her play this nightmarish game every single night. But right at the start of the book, a new voice comes and Gracie, the main character, starts to fall in love with him. So I'm just taking it on my fingers. So it was meant to come out, and it did come out, I don't know why I'm saying meant to. Came out on the 10th of October 2019, which at the time was Mental Health Awareness Day. I think the date changes like every year. Was it in May in 2020? I'm not sure. But anyway, so it came out on the 10th of October, and we had nothing planned for my debut day. Like, so my publisher is a very small publisher, and I wasn't expecting like loads in terms of publicity sort of things. The only thing I knew of which did go ahead was this thing. So I'm just taking the Glossier concealer in G11 and I'm going to conceal my spots and under eyes because I need 2 layers of concealer. I'll do another layer after. So there was like a book blog tour where for the week my book came out, my book got sent to a load of these different bloggers and they posted a review about it and talked about it for the day. And it was really cool, I really enjoyed it. But other than that, I didn't know what was going to happen with publicity for my book, because like I said, my publisher are really small, and I was also the only author with them at the time. Like, I was only published author, I was their first published author from this publisher, which I was really happy about, don't get me wrong. And I was actually really surprised that in August, a couple of weeks before my birthday last year, so just before my 23rd birthday, I was invited by the book collective to Victoria's Festival, which is a festival in the south of England. I don't live in the south of England, I live in the cold north. So it was in Portsmouth, I think. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that day, and to my knowledge that was, at the time anyway, that was going to be like the only PR thing we were doing for the book, and I thought it went really well, you know. Don't get me wrong, it went really well. So now I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation, which I absolutely despise, but I only have this much left and it's actually what I was wearing in the last video. It looks okay on camera if you sit far enough away, and I'm going to mix it with this Unicorn Primer Drops from GRWM because it's the only thing that makes this foundation look good on me, and even then, not much. I mean, it looks worse without this. So I just put some on the back of my hand and then I'll put the foundation on the top and I'll mix it with the end of my brush. So like a week or so after Victoria's Festival, so we'd flown home, and I always called her my manager, and in this video I'm going to refer to her as my manager because I don't want to say anyone's names, but whether she actually was my manager or not is something we can definitely dispute. But she texted me, like I said, a week or so after the Victoria's Festival and said, hey, I've just heard from a friend that they want you on the news. Now I'm not going to say which news network, but she said they want you to be on the news on your novel debut day. So I'm just dotting this all over my face, it's going to look a bit weird, don't worry. And I texted back yes immediately because I was like, from a standpoint for my publisher, that'll be really good for selling copies because, you know, she's worked hard on it, I've worked hard on it. My publisher, because it's such a small company, was also my editor for the book. I absolutely love my publisher so much. So I text back yes, and then I had a panic attack, which is great. So I'm just going to use my blender full and start blending this out. Because obviously being on the news, and I googled this news channel, I don't watch this news, but I googled the news channel what their reach was at the time of day she was suggesting I would be going on, and it was very high. So I was substantially paranoid, like at the Victoria's Festival, because the way the festival was, it was like split up into different tents, and the literary tent was fairly small, and there was probably about 20 people who came to listen to my thing, which was nerve-wracking already. But being on television, having it recorded live, it was going to be live television, it wasn't going to be pre-recorded. I was petrified, so my mum came home about an hour after and I was still like having a panic attack. She was like, what's wrong, what's wrong? So I showed her the text from my manager and she was like, oh, that's great, and it is great, and looking back now I wish I really had gone on, but yeah. But yeah, I was pretty scared at the time. I have autism, I have anxiety, I have panic disorder, adjustment disorder. I have a lot of different things going on, and it sometimes just makes things a bit harder for stuff like that. Like, even for this video, for all of my YouTube videos, even though they're not live, I just have to like sit in front of the camera for a couple of minutes before I can start the video, because I just like get paralysed with fear. It's kind of funny, but obviously you can't do that on live television. So we arranged with my publisher and my manager that we were gonna do it, we're definitely gonna do it. Me and my mum, because of my anxiety, I wanted my mum there. We were gonna get the train down to London on the day, and I think the slot we had on the news was about 1 PM, and they said we had to be there an hour before, and they would pick us up from the train station and drive us to the studio. Now I won't say exactly where the studio was, I think a lot of the television studios are around in this area, so maybe it wouldn't give it away. But they said from the train station I was coming in at, it would be about an hour's drive, because it wasn't in central London. The TV studios don't really seem to be super central in London. I'm just going back over with some more foundation on my rosacea areas. So me and my mum looked at trains, and in order to be in London for I think like 9 AM, which is the time they'd need to pick us up at for us to get to the studio in time, we would have to get the train, I think at like 6:30 in the morning. So yeah. So we booked the train, we had everything arranged. My publisher, because she lives in a different part of the country, was coming in at a different station, but she was going to come to the train station we were at. We were all going to get this car to the studio together, and we would go to the studio and do it, you know, I guess. And like I said, I was really nervous, but I was getting excited because I was like, my publisher's a really small publisher and this is a really good opportunity to sell some books, because like I was kind of thinking, like all my life I have wanted to be an author, but I was thinking like, what is the point of publishing a book if no one's going to read it? You know, that's actually part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel, kind of because of what happened on my novel debut day. Now I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser thing on my acne down here. So the journey was fine. So the week of my novel coming out, and my novel came out on the Thursday, the 10th of October 2019 was a Thursday. So I had work the rest of the week, and my rabbit almost died on the Monday of the week, so we were off to a great start at the start of this week. But I was starting to get really excited. I was telling my friends, like in the past I've almost got published before, but in the end it fell through, so I didn't tell anyone, and I was really glad I didn't tell anyone because, like I said, it fell through. I feel like there's nothing worse than telling everyone something's going to happen and then it doesn't. You feel like, what am I supposed to tell people? So all of my friends knew. I'm a note taker at university, my student and his friends knew. I even emailed my high school. The deputy head who had been there when I was there was still there, and he was going to watch it, as well as all the teachers that were still there that knew me. Like, I was getting hyped. Like, I was nervous, but I wanted it to happen. Now I'm going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer under my eyes. So yeah, I was scared, but I was like, this is going to be really good and hopefully it'll help with my confidence as well. Like, that's another reason why I like doing YouTube, because it has really helped with my confidence. Even though a lot of people don't watch my videos, like I have 23 subscribers as of filming this, it doesn't really bother me how many people watch me, because just the act of filming the videos and even editing the videos, like I was dreading editing the videos so much because of how much I thought I hated the sound of my own voice. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in love with the sound of my voice. I don't think I have the nicest sounding voice in the world. But you know, I don't think I sound horrendous, you know? I think I sound okay and fairly nice. And honestly, I don't really seem to have much of an accent, which is kind of weird. I think you can tell I'm British, but you can't tell from which part of the country I'm from. A lot of Northerners always tell me I sound like I'm from the south, but Southerners can always tell I'm from the north. So I am kind of confused about where I sound like I'm from in England, but I definitely do sound like I'm English. So yeah, so now I'm going in with the Rimmel Instafix Matte Pressed Powder on my cheeks, forehead and chin. So like I said, the week was okay leading up to the book. Not the best week in my life, but I was getting excited. So the morning of, and the day before, I felt so ill. Oh god, I was not happy. I felt so ill. I actually was ill, and it didn't help that I was feeling anxious. Now I'm going to use the Glossier Wowder on my under eyes and nose. So I felt so ill. It was unbelievable. But the morning after I felt a lot better, but you know, I was really tired because we had to get up so early. And we decided that, so this news place had told me that I needed to do my own makeup, but if there was something wrong with it, or it wasn't enough, or it was too much, they would fix it when I got there, sort of thing. So I packed my bag the previous night. I had all of my makeup in it, other supplies just for London in general, because oh my god, London can be such a tiring place just wandering around, even just going for a day. We were going to come home the same day. It's such a tiring place. So I got everything ready. I had all my makeup, I had my notepad, I had whatever else, and because I get anxiety I always take like a small like little teddy. So I'd been ill the day before. I'm just going to put some lip balm on. I was ill the day before and I felt better in the morning, but I was incredibly tired because we had to get up at like 5:45, which I'm not used to. Like I get up at 6:30 most mornings, but 5:45 when I'd been ill the day before and I was really anxious. Not fun. So now I'm going to use this blush from Max Factor. So my younger brother, who can drive, took me and my mum to the train station because the town we live in is very small and there isn't a direct train to London, so we went to the one in the city instead. And the train was fine, there's nothing wrong with the train, but the train, because it was so early in the morning, it was obviously the train for the people who work in London but don't live in London, so it stopped everywhere. Like I've got the train to London loads of times before, and it's usually a 2-hour train that has about 4 or 5 stops on it. This one stopped pretty much every single station it passed, all the major stations it passed anyway, because it was for everyone who was working in London because of the time the train was. So the train was actually 4 hours instead of 2 hours, which wasn't great. So for the first like hour of the train ride, I was kind of feeling very ill from nervousness and lack of sleep, but also getting excited and just trying to wake up. Oh god, I was so tired. And then the second hour I stopped being tired, and yeah, I was still nervous. I felt a bit sick, but I was like, yes, I can do this, I've got this. So now I'm going to use this Pat McGrath highlight palette, and I'm going to use the middle one, which is the white with a gold shift. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell if you can see it shifting in the camera. I'm sat right in front of the window, so maybe it's too much light on it. But then we got to Birmingham. And now Birmingham isn't my favourite place in the world, so maybe this is why it happened at Birmingham. But my manager rang me. Now where the train station is at Birmingham is it's underground, the train goes underground. So the signal wasn't great, and she had to text me a couple minutes later. I wasn't sure what was going on. But they've just said, oh, I'm so sorry, Hazel. They've just cancelled on you. So I'm halfway to London. Within like another 2 hours, this car would be picking me up. And they'd cancelled on me. So they cancelled on an author they knew had mental health issues on Mental Health Awareness Day, the day her debut novel was coming out. I wasn't very happy. I started crying, and my mum, who was sat opposite me, she was like, oh my god, what's happened? So I told her, I just said they've cancelled on me. I was absolutely devastated. I didn't know what to do. I was just sat there like, what do I do about this? Like nothing, there's nothing I can do. So when we pulled out of Birmingham and we stopped being underground, I called my publisher, we had a chat. She was like, well, I'm on the train to London myself, so you know, we'll just have a great day together, we'll go and grab some lunch when you arrive, I'll still meet you at the train station, we'll just do something else and celebrate you because you've worked really hard for this. And you know, I absolutely love my publisher so much. I think she's amazing, I think she's wonderful. So I was really grateful to her and for my mum for being there for me that day, because originally when we discussed this, I was gonna go on my own without my mum. So if that had been the case, I would have been alone on the train and just found out this news network had cancelled on me. So I was really grateful for both of them that day. And so now I'm going to use the Glossier Boy Brow. So my mum had a chat with me, and maybe it's because my mum's a Lancashire mum, but she was like, pull yourself together, Hazel, it's fine. You'll be fine, okay? So no, you're not going on the news, but you'll be fine. My mum's just that kind of mum. I think northern mums are a bit different to southern English mums. Like I snapped the tendon in this finger in high school. It was when I was 12 and it was in October of the academic year. I came home with my fingers taped together, and my PE teacher told me to go to A&E when I got home. My mum was like, give it a rub, you'll be fine, take the tape off. Turns out 2 months later, when my finger was drooping, she was like, maybe we should get it checked out. I'd snapped the tendon. It's just the way northern mums are. So I'm just going to use this bare spoolie just to sort them out a bit and shape them. So she was like, pull yourself together, and I was like, you know what, mum, you're 5,000% right. Like, I'm not the sort of person to cry uncontrollably in a public place. So I sorted myself out. I texted my friends to let them know what was going on so they wouldn't be watching the news to try and spot me, you know, so they wouldn't have a wasted time. So I let them all know they'd cancelled on me, it wasn't happening, and I put my makeup on, and I literally just finished. I'm so slow at makeup, I'm sorry. But I literally just finished as the train pulled into London. So now I'm going to use the Latte 2 palette, and I'm going to put just like a base down of this really pale shade that's called Frothy all over the lid. So we got off the train, my publisher spotted us straight away, but honestly I just nearly started crying when I saw her, because even though I had done nothing wrong, I felt like I really let her down by this getting cancelled. Like, they didn't cancel on me because of me. They had cancelled, my manager said they'd cancelled because something bigger had come up and they needed a slot to put it in, and obviously I wasn't important enough, so they replaced me with something that was going to happen. So we decided to go and get some cake. So we took a taxi to Covent Garden and we went to Cafe Nero, I believe, that's just off from Covent Garden. Now I'm going to go in with this pinky shade called Cafe Con... I say Cafe Con Leche, but I don't know if it's Cafe Con Leche. I don't know, the only thing I get from Starbucks is a hot chocolate, so I don't know the names of any kinds of coffee drinks. I don't even know what a latte is, but it looks nice. I absolutely love this palette and just the way it's put together with like, I don't know if you can see, but on the packaging it has like, it's not actual coffee stains, but it's made to look like that. And so does the box. I keep the boxes for everything. I just like keeping the box, like keeping them in the box. So we went to get some cake from Cafe Nero. We just sat there, we had a chat, we got to know each other some more, because actually I don't know my publisher that well. She had to know a lot about me so she could market the book, because my book Nightmare Scenario, it's about a girl who hears voices, and I hear voices. I haven't been diagnosed with anything. I'm not, to my knowledge, schizophrenic or have psychosis or anything like that. They don't know, they're still in the process. I've been hearing voices since I was 17, I'm 24. It's a long process because they have absolutely no idea. So I did write this book as a way to like help me deal with it, because sometimes when you don't know what it is, it's hard to find closure for it with what's going on. You know, I'm not sure if anyone else feels the same way in terms of diagnostic labels and stuff like that, but I did really struggle with it for quite a bit for like the first 2 years. From the ages of 17 to 19, not knowing what was going on, it was really hard for me to deal with. I'm okay with it now with hearing voices, but for those first 2 years, like I started hearing them when I was 17 at the end of my final A-level exam, which was really fun. Actually, it wasn't even the end, it was halfway through the exam. Halfway through the exam I started hearing voices. What a time for it to start, you know? But so yeah, I ended up learning a lot about my publisher. So we just went around London for a bit walking, and because my book is set in London, I don't live in London, I had to learn a lot about London, so I knew all these random facts. Oh, I didn't tell you what I was doing. I'm going in with Matcha, the greeny turquoisey shade, just on the outer corner of my eye. So we went around London, and like I said, I had to learn a lot about London for my book. So I gave them a London Underground quiz. There's a chunk of my book that's set in the London Underground, which, because it's a science fiction book, the Underground is shut. It has been partially destroyed, I won't say by what, but almost the entire second novel is set in the Underground. I would say for this colour you have to build it up quite a bit to get it to look like the way it does in the pan, but it's really pretty once you do. So I gave them a random Underground quiz, asking them if they know where all the plague pits in the Underground are, because fun fact, the Underground is built around a load of plague pits, mainly the old gate stations, which is, you know, really dead fun. What a joke. Sorry, that was a really bad pun. But then we went to Foyles, which is a really big bookshop. We don't have it in north of England, there's only a couple in the country because they're so big, and they have loads of different, really diverse sections. And my favourite part of the whole store is, first of all, the cafe on the top floor. It's really nice. They do the best chocolate milkshakes. If you're ever in London after lockdown, you should go to Foyles and ask for the milkshakes. It's not usually on the menu, so just ask for it and they'll make it you. But they also have a massive language section. I'm not really good at learning languages, but I really enjoy it. I'm learning how to speak Korean and Mandarin, and I want to start relearning French again. So my publisher left at that point, so me and my mum got some food from the Foyles cafe. We just went shopping. I went to Oxford Street, went to Whittards, which became my new favourite shop. So that day I tried for the first time the Whittards chocolate orange hot chocolate, which in my opinion is the best hot chocolate ever. I pretty much have it every single day. I always try to drink it when I watch a Smoky Glow video. So now I associate a Smoky Glow video with the taste of that hot chocolate. And the other week when it was a heat wave, I couldn't drink it, and she uploaded like 3 or 4 videos that week, and I was like, well, I'm sorry, I can't watch them, I can't have a hot chocolate. It's just the way it is. Okay, so that's looking fairly equal. I have very asymmetrical eyelids. This one's a double eyelid, this is a 1 full crease and 3/4 of another crease, which is fun. And now I'm just on my ring finger, I'm going to take the gold colour in the palette, which is called Drizzle, here. So, and I'm just going to put it all over my inner half of my eye, but not the inner corner of my eye. So it was great, and then we went back to Covent Garden for tea later on. We just went to this Italian, I really like Italian food. And I started to get upset again. Because I've been distracted all day, I was starting to get upset again. And my mum was just like, I understand why you're upset, but your goal all your life has been to get a novel published, not to have been on the news. And she's 5,000% right. That had been my goal since I was like 3-4 years old. However, I was kind of starting to realise, what's the point of writing something like this, of spending so much of my time in my life of practicing every single day, because I write every single day. No matter how much PhD work I've got to do, I write every single day without fail. What's the point of spending my entire life so far, like 20 years of my life, writing every single day to get better if no one's ever gonna read it? Like, what is the point? So I was like, I have to do something, I can't just let it slide. So that's when I was like, I have to make a YouTube channel. I didn't actually start until February because I was so nervous, and actually Smoky Glow, Queen Glow, kind of like inspired me, I guess, to do it. I remember it was in her Glowmas last year when she was doing like a Q&A, I believe, and someone was like, how do you start a YouTube channel? I'm so nervous. She was just like, you just gotta do it, just gotta do it. And she's 100% right, you just gotta do it. And she's also a big part of the reason why I started my PhD as well. I absolutely love Smoky Glow. I'll leave her channel down below. So now I'm gonna take the flat side of the brush. This one's like a fluffy bendy side, this is like a flat side. I don't know what to call these things. And I'm gonna go back in to the matcha colour, and I'm gonna do it on my lower lash line, but only on like the outer half. Then I'm going to do gold on the same side but on the inner half. So you know, my mum was 100% right, but I think at this point, because I'd cried a bit on the train but I didn't want to cry loads in public because that's embarrassing, I was like, I think when I get home I just need to cry out a bit. Like, generally when something like this happens, I just need to cry for a bit. Like, I know I'll be fine, but I just need to do it. Like, when any kind of disaster, I just need to cry for a bit before I can carry on and try and fix the problem. I just have to cry. That's just who I am. I've always been like that. I just need to have a good cry. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like, it gives me energy to carry on. This week for my PhD, I've been really struggling with it. So I take about 10 minutes just to have a break to cry, and then I'm like, oh, that's better, I can carry on now. Which is kind of weird, actually. So yeah, it wasn't the best novel debut day. We tried to make the best of it, and I did enjoy it. Like, after the morning, after we got off the train, I'd kind of gotten over it a bit. That chunk where I was with my publisher and then with my mum for like the afternoon, I was fine. It was when we sat down to tea and the train back where I was feeling really down. But my mum bought me from the Disney store a big Stitch teddy, which I still have. It's in the background of all my other videos where I'm sat in my bed. I love Stitch. But yeah, we tried to make the best out of what had been like, I guess, a semi-ruined day because of what this news network had done. And my younger brother, who was at home, we asked him if he could watch the news just to see what was on at that time, and it turned out, as it was, absolutely nothing, which was weird because actually when my novel was coming out, it really should have been a busier news day because Extinction Rebellion were in London. I'm pretty sure Trump was doing something weird at the time with another country. Was this the stuff with Iran? I think it was maybe too soon for Iran. I think Iran might have been in January. If it even was Iran, maybe it was Iraq. I'm not sure. But as it goes, it should have been a really slow news day. So what I think happened is they were expecting something to happen. I needed a slot for it. But whatever they were expecting did not happen. And they already cancelled me on that point and didn't think I'd be in the area. They probably assumed I'd gone home, which I hadn't. I was still in London, but you know. So now I'm gonna put Frappe, this shimmery lights colour. It's an odd colour, like a pinky, glittery, silvery colour. I don't know colours. So I'm gonna put it on the inner corner of my eye. So my manager apologised to me, my publisher apologised to me, my mum apologised to me, I apologised to me. The news network did not apologise to me. And they have like a website as well that publishes articles, so my manager was trying to see if they would like publish just an article about my book instead, which I thought would have been really good because their articles also get a lot of traction. Obviously not as much as the actual, you know, their TV show. But like, I thought that'd be a good like, yeah, okay. They never replied to her, so everyone else apologised to me but them, which wasn't very nice of them. Honestly, I'm still kind of salty about it when I get a news notification. I don't care what the headline is, if I see it's from them, I don't read it anymore. I'm still very annoyed about it. So now I'm just going to quickly apply some mascara because I'm really bad at doing that whilst talking, and it's the L'Oreal Volume Million Lashes. So I'm not as upset as I used to be about it, but it still does annoy me when I think about it, obviously, if I have to do that every time I see a notification from them on my phone. But I am feeling better about it. But as for my second book, I'm not actually sure when it's coming out. It was actually supposed to come out at the same time, so in October this year, so not the same time, but a year afterwards. But the coronavirus had a really bad effect on my publisher. So they're only a small company. There are only 2 other authors besides me who got published afterwards. So one of the other authors' book came out in November and the other one came out in January, February. But they haven't closed per se, but they've had to stop taking on new people because they can't afford to publish any more books. Because so the way they work is that when someone ordered a book, it was sent to this printing company who would print the book for them. And you would think the coronavirus, perfect time to sell books, because people who have been furloughed, off work, been fired, whatever the situation is, they might do some reading. Which was true, because apparently a lot of people did order my book, but my publisher had to refund almost every person because the printers closed. So she had a few copies she could send out, but everyone else she had to refund. So my book isn't coming out in October. She thinks it's for the best that I find another publisher. And I'm not 100% sure I want to. Like, I want my book to come out. I think I've realised, because my book is also part of my PhD, it's about mental health, and I think I have something important to say, so I do want it to come out. I don't want to stop it from coming out, but I do really like my publisher. She's a lovely lady, and like, she gets me. I feel like if I went with a bigger publishing house, like, obviously I don't know though, I'm not sure it would be as personable, and I'm not sure if they would really take my mental health into account as well as my publisher did. So I'm not sure what to do. Like I said, I do want it to come out, but I'm not sure if a publisher would swing for publishing an author who's already published one, and this is the second in a trilogy. It's not just a second book of mine, it's the next in the trilogy. So I'm unsure of what to do, but right now I'm just concentrating on my PhD, just trying to get some work done. I guess I'll see how it goes. I'm just praying that business picks back up. I think the printers are back open now, so you can order my book. The link is below. But yeah, like I said, I have something important to say about several topics that I do in my book, because I couldn't do a video like this and articulate them. I'm really bad at articulating stuff out loud. Like, Smoky Glow, back at it again, Smoky Glow. But she's so articulate on camera, and obviously I know she can edit out all the time. She like fluffs up a word or whatever, but she comes across as just so articulate and just knowing everything like perfectly, like what she wants to talk about. Like, I want to be as articulate as Smoky Glow for my Viva, and I think doing a makeup video, especially because I'm trying to do stuff at the same time, could really help me become more articulate. So the last bit, the lips. The lipstick I was wearing in the video is this one from Patrick Tar called She's Hard to Get, and it's this really, really pretty pink colour, but since I'm so close to the camera, I'm too scared to use it. So I'm going to use, which one? I think I'm going to use a slightly darker one, She's Confident, which is also from Patrick Tar. They're like, they're kind of like a lip gloss. It's called a silky lip cream, so it's like a lip gloss, but it's quite a lot thicker than a lip gloss. It's kind of halfway between a lip gloss and a liquid lipstick, and I really like them. I've discovered I don't actually like liquid lipstick that much. She says, knowing full well she's just ordered one. But I don't like them that much. My favourite liquid lipstick formula is from Dominique Cosmetics. It's so nice, and this colour is so beautiful. It's in creamy pink. I love it. It smells great, feels great. Such a pretty colour. But these are really nice because they give the same colour payoff as these, but are really comfortable to wear and are so glossy. So I'll just pop that on and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the finished look. Does it look horrific? I don't know. Actually, going back to Smoky Glow, once again, the queen. She was saying in a video she did recently that how she seems to get more hate for her makeup videos rather than the ones where she like gives her opinion, which could be more arguably controversial. How she was saying like she's not like a makeup expert, she does like what she feels is realistic for the average makeup consumer. And I feel like I'm the same. Like, no, I'm not amazing at makeup, but I really enjoy applying it. But I'm not an expert. I feel like the way I do my makeup, minus the bronzer because I don't know what I'm doing with that yet, but I'm gonna practice, don't worry. But it's realistic, but it's kind of realistic for what the average person can do. Maybe mine's a bit too basic, she says, looking in the mirror. But the way I usually go around my eye makeup being a mess is I put on glasses, because you then have to be this close to my face in order to see what's going on. So yeah. But at the end of the day, whether people really hate my makeup videos or whatever, I guess I don't really care, because Ever since I started doing YouTube videos, I have felt a lot better about myself. Just in general, I feel so much more confident and I feel like I like myself more. I don't really know why, but yeah, I just do, to be honest. So I feel like I just want to carry on make them. And I also have ordered some new makeup, which I'm really excited about. So I ordered the 2 new Kaleidos Futurism palette. I think that's how you say it, Kaleidos, like kaleidoscope, but not the scope part. As well as a highlighter from them and a liquid lipstick, like I said. So I got a notification to say it shipped out yesterday and it's coming from China. So I've ordered things from Korea before, mainly Korean textbooks, but they usually take about 2.5 weeks to arrive. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be here in time for when I film my next makeup video. I'm really excited for them. I've never tried anything from Kaleidos, but I've heard really good things from them, so I'm really excited for it. The palettes look so cool. Anyway, that's all for today and I will see you all next time. Bye!